to the channel for an absolutely massive video. I'm so excited. I've been waiting to look at this for a while. I haven't really thought about it, and yes, it is my EPL table predictions. Well, I haven't been doing much Premier League content recently. Obviously, a Gunner report will be coming out pretty soon. Because Arsenal do play on, well, for me it would be Saturday night. Yes, on Saturday. Anyway, let's get cracking into this. And I feel like we've got to start from the ends and work our way in. So, obviously, I'm going to go basic here, but I think Man City should win the league. Obviously, that's not what I want, but I just feel like with the squad they have and the signings they've made, I don't really see a way they don't win it. I mean, we're Arsenal. I feel like we're one signing off the mark at the moment. We just need that striker, that lethal striker inside the box. I'm surprised we haven't been looking for that. I mean, we have had talks with Osimhen's agent and Gyökeres and stuff, but nothing like that seems too serious. So I feel like we're just one step off par at the moment. And this league would be super competitive if it wasn't for Man City. So I want to put us in the Champions League position because I think that's realistic. The question is who else makes it? Liverpool, new manager, and as we know, after a great manager retires or steps away, then the next manager doesn't do so well. We saw that with Unai Emery after Wenger left. So I feel like Liverpool could slip to 5th. I'll put them in Champions League positions just because they have such a quality squad. And they've still got... Oh, sorry about that. They've still got players of the quality of Van Dijk, Salah, McAllister, Szoboszlai, who really stepped up, Robertson, Alisson, Luis Diaz, who are all classy players. So, I mean, that they've got a good squad. I feel like they haven't made a signing though this summer, which is probably their biggest concern. But I think they should realistically be making the top 4. The next question is, I think there's a few clubs. I'll just move them over to the left. Chelsea, Tottenham, if I can grab them. Oh my god. Tottenham and Man United. And realistically, between these 3, you could almost throw Newcastle in there as well. I don't think Man United can do it. They made some good signings of Lenny Yoro and Xerxes, but I just feel like they should have improvement from last year. That's what I'm saying. Tottenham, they just signed Solanke, massive signing, and Archie Gray from Leeds. So, I mean, I feel like they still don't have the strongest squad depth. But that's obviously something every team needs to work on. And Chelsea, they signed Pedro Neto. They've also signed Jorgensen, goalkeeper, might get some time. They've signed someone else. I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, some big signings for Chelsea. And I feel like we're not going to see the same top 4 as last year. And I just have a feeling Chelsea are going to slip into 4th. Cole Palmer's obviously going to have to have a massive season. Madueke, I almost said Luke Jackson. Nicholas Jackson going to have to step up a lot. Sterling's going to have to play a lot better. Pedro Neto is just come in. He's going to have a role to play on the left and the right, maybe down the middle. It reminds me of like a Jota signing, like a Wolves player coming up to a big club, and he can play on both sides. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, Chelsea have a really good squad. It's just that midfield, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, maybe Palmer in the 10. They could do some reinforcements there, and they might have signed someone there. I can't quite recall it. Anyway, I feel like Tottenham finished 5th, and I'm going to go Newcastle in 6th. Newcastle, I think with the having no Champions League, I think they've got Conference League or Europa League. I'm not quite sure on that. But with no Champions League, they're going to have a lot more time, and they're going to be able to focus a lot more on the Premier League. So I feel like they'll be able to boost back up the ladder. Maybe those two you could swap around either way. Next you've got the lot Aston Villa, Man United, and probably you could throw West Ham into there. I actually think West Ham are going to be a quality team next season. The signings of Nicholas Füllkrug, Somerville. They signed a centre back as well. I can't quite remember his name. But yeah, I actually think West Ham are going to be do really well next season. Bowen's not going to have such a key role in striker, and maybe you can play him off to the left or the right. If Fekwedo gets off with this thing, I reckon, yeah, they'll definitely have a massive chance of going big and getting Conference League action. Yeah, I think that's a good position for them. I reckon now I'm going to start going down from relegation zone, because mid-table was a bit harder to predict at the moment. Relegation, I think you have Ipswich finishing last just because of that inexperience at the club. They did have a really good season in the Championship last year, but I just feel like they finished last. And Southampton, they've got a really good squad all around. There's no one really lacks well, they're a step below the rest, but like no one really stands out as being really poor. So, and then 18th place becomes a question, because you've got Leicester with lots of experience Premier League players. I can't remember what signings I've made off the top of my head. And the teams that would be around them would be Nottingham Forest, Everton, and maybe a Brentford. And I feel like it's actually a tough one to pick who goes down. I feel like it could be Nottingham Forest. It depends how Morgan Gibbs White plays. But yeah, I think Nottingham Forest go down. Just because that lack of overall firepower that lots of other teams have. I mean, they could easily be finish 12th, 13th. They could also easily finish relegated. And I think with a possible points deduction like last season, maybe they could get relegated this year. I've got Leicester finishing 17th and Everton finishing 16th. The reason I don't see Everton improving is just they've made no signings that's really popped out. They do have lots of good players. Jade Branthwaite, I think he's on his way. No, I think he's still there. Obviously, I've got no way to clarify that at the moment. I could actually check. They've got a good squad. Mikolenko. If Calvert-Lewin can get going and playing well, Beto, you didn't see his real potential last season. So Jordan Pickford in goals. Obviously, They had Onana. Onana's actually gone to Aston Villa. Have made a few good signings actually. Wait, did Onana go to? Yeah, he did go to Aston Villa. Aston Villa have also signed Maatsen from Chelsea. But yeah, I feel like Everton, I think 16th is the right position for them. With I think Brentford will finish above. Tony staying there. I think Everton signed Neil Mapai. I'm not quite too sure on that. I'm not 100% on these every transfer, but yeah. Who do we have rounding off that section? Or is it 5 teams? 'Cause I think it is. I think Fulham, they've obviously got one of the better squads. They on their day they can compete with a Man City. And then 13th, I might go Bournemouth in 14th just because of that loss of Solanke. Such a key figure. He's gone to Tottenham. And lack of maybe firepower up front, and they're going to... firepower up front, and they're going to need to find a replacement for that. So we've got that mid-table now. But it depends what way we want to order it. I think we'll go like this. Aston Villa in 8th. The reason I have them dropping down is because we saw this with Newcastle last season, where you have a good season with no kind of European football, and then once you go straight into that Champions League, it's really hard to adapt, especially for your first time in quite some time. First time for most of the players. So yeah, I think that they'll slip down to 8th. I think they'll still be a quality side. Man United in 9th. I honestly see West Ham having Newcastle. I honestly see the rest just having a better season. And I don't see improvement with keeping Ten Hag there. Obviously that decision was based on the FA Cup. That didn't look promising enough against Man City in the Community Shield. But yeah, I mean, I had them finishing 9th. And will be another lacklustre season for them, but I feel like they're one season off maybe jumping up into a Europa League and maybe Champions League position. I've got Brighton finishing in 10th. It is just because they've got a really good squad, but I feel like they're like the definition of mid-table. They've got a good squad. They're nowhere near the relegation, but they're nowhere near Champions League football. Great squad. Loss of a manager is never going to help, but they're going to have to adapt to that, obviously. And yeah, that's why I've got them finishing. That loss of Pascal Gross as well. He's gone to Dortmund. So, I mean, a few players out. Hopefully we can see Evan Ferguson kind of develop a little bit better. A little bit more. Anyway, I've got Wolves in 11th and Crystal Palace in 12th. And this is my Premier League predictions. Obviously, Crystal Palace in 12th, below Wolves, just because I feel like Wolves have the better squad. And obviously losing, at least say someone else is going to have to step up into that position for the Crystal Palace. And yeah, I'll say this, I'm not the smartest, but I know a bit, and these are my predictions. Don't base anything off this, because obviously they're not going to be that accurate. Just going into the season, what I think is going to happen. Obviously, some surprising things might be Man United and Aston Villa in 8th and 9th. Maybe having Nottingham Forest in relegation. Maybe having Chelsea in the top 4. Maybe not having Tottenham in the top 4. Might all come as surprising. But, like I said, it's only a prediction. It's nothing to take too seriously. Thank you guys for listening to my Premier League predictions, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.